Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast, where we discuss what's happening in the cryptosphere and trading on earth as it is in heaven. Buckle up and hodl on while we dive in and get weird. Here are your hosts, Joshua and Kim.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Today, we wanted to discuss the importance of being a holder, not a seller, or as popular in the crypto community, a hodler.
We are hodlers to the end.
Yes. I know another term is diamond hand versus paper hands. And it's basically just the concept of, are your hands hard? Like, are you going to hold through the hard times, or are you paper hands and you're going to sell at the first sight of a dip? And today's kind of an interesting day to be talking about this, because we've actually recovered a bit of the market that had been down a little bit. Bitcoin had been sitting around 41, 42, and it's up hanging out right around 43 today. So today we actually saw a little bit of a recovery. And one of the things I wanted to touch on was really just what it means to hold. And if you're not an active day trader who's really paying attention to the market and taking advantage of the small ups and downs, you're really better off holding as long as you can. I know both of us, like, for sure, the biggest wins that I have, and I believe you have, came from holding for months, if not over a year.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think one of the distinctions that we need to make is the difference between a long-term trade and a short-term trade in crypto versus normal markets.
Right.
Because a long-term trade in crypto could be 3 months,
Right.
where that is that's a short hold in the regular markets.
I mean, when I traded regular markets, I did what was called swing trading, which was 1 to 30 days of a trade. And that was considered an intermediate sort of level. It wasn't day trading. It wasn't minute trading. It was, that was like the medium level. And then there was like long-term was, maybe 6 months to a year. And in crypto, those numbers could be half of that. And it's not that you can't also hold for a long time, because one of the things that I think is really interesting is not too long ago, a man named Brian Brooks, who's the CEO of a company called Bitfury, was before Congress. And he did some research and stated that somewhere around 80% of all the Bitcoin wallets that have ever existed have never sold anything.
Wow.
And that really goes to show I guess kind of the mindset that's different in this community, because that means those people see this as being a long-term strategy, as being long-term potential for success, and they're not willing to take short-term gains because the vision they see is much greater than that.
That's really interesting, because I think one of the stereotypes that has really kind of come around cryptocurrency is that it's this get rich quick scheme.
Right.
I mean, I've heard all kinds of different things being said about it. But when you look at people who are investing in it, not dabbling, I would say investing, and you look at these kinds of numbers, people are in it for the long term. An investment is something that you're willing to put something in and hold it, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was even just talking to someone the other day. They were asking how to determine which coins to buy into and when, and these kinds of things. And somebody said, oh, there are these people you can listen to. It wasn't us, by the way. But there are these people you can listen to. They have a daily YouTube show, whatever. They always come out with stuff and things move before their show's even over. Fine. But one of the things that I wanted to point out is that you need to be investing in coins that you feel like you can invest in, essentially. Like, do your own research. This is one of the terms that you'll hear flying around all over the place in the crypto world. But do your own research. Find out what is the coin about? What is the company about? Is it something that you believe in and that you actually want to invest part of what you have, who you are, whatever, into? Even just the concern over whether it's going up or down. Is it worth your investment of that concern? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I love to see that with that number, that 80% of all Bitcoin holders have never sold. That tells me that these are people who, like, they're invested in this new whim, as people would say, or this new trend, or whatever.
I like to call Bitcoin the next, or cryptocurrency, the next evolution in finances. And you're really, the people who have bought and hold are truly investing and saying, I'm putting my value here because this is something I believe is the future. And this is what I would say the difference is. I would love to see the numbers between the Bitcoin wallets and the Doge wallets, because I would imagine that the majority of people, so if we have 80% of Bitcoin holders who've never sold, I bet that number is about 80% of Doge who have sold, because what the difference is Bitcoin is actually aiming to be a new form, a new payment system, a new form of currency. They have a long-term plan. Doge is a meme coin that people were buying because it was popular, or just because they thought the meme was funny. And there's a big difference between those two and the types of people who are investing in it, and also the value in those investments. I've held Doge. I don't have any problem with Doge. I think it's a very fun thing, but its value is truly in it being fun and a meme. Whereas I truly believe that Bitcoin has potential to be around for the next 25, 30, 40 years until we reach another evolution in the way we do finances.
That's super interesting.
So one of the things that really gives me hope for the hodlers is there are 39.5 million unique wallet addresses that hold Bitcoin. So probably I would imagine that, some of those are unique individuals, but not all of them, because I know for a fact I've held Bitcoin in multiple wallets.
Right, same.
So out of those 39.5, how many are duplicates? I don't really know, but I think that's an important number, because that only represents 0.5% of the world's population, if each of those was a unique individual.
Wow.
And I think that the number is probably, I don't know, I would almost venture to say half of that would be individual people. And so that to me shows so much potential in where cryptocurrency and Bitcoin can go. And no, go ahead.
No, I think it's interesting. I would love to see the numbers on just crypto wallets, period.
Right.
I don't know if that information is out there, if it's readily available, but I have read some statistics, and I hate to even try to pretend like I remember what they were, about the number of Americans who have done anything with cryptocurrency, whether they've bought a single coin, or if they are holders or whatever. But I think it went up like threefold last year. And again, I hate to even try to put numbers on it because I don't have the information right in front of me. And the percentage of the US who has been involved in some way with cryptocurrency went up significantly. So I wonder what that is. I see what Bitcoin is, and I think Bitcoin is the most universal,
Mhm.
honestly. I'm sure you'll hear us say this from time to time, and it just tends to hold true, at least at this point. And honestly, I don't see it changing anytime soon. Bitcoin is king right now.
Right.
And I think until that next evolution that you're talking about, Bitcoin has a really good chance of staying king.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you as far as holders go, at least the top 10, this particular website I'm looking at doesn't have um, like a cumulative number for it.
Sure.
But you have Bitcoin at 39.5 million, Ethereum um, is not on this list apparently.
11
Um,
million.
no, it was 11 million less, I believe.
Oh,
Um, but you have Doge clear down at 4.5, Tether at 4.2, Litecoin at 4, Dash at 1.4. So once you kind of drop out of the the top 3 maybe, you go
mhm.
from like the 20s down to 4.
Wow.
And that really shows just how much potential there really is for those things.
Yeah.
It's wild to me, the potential. And I think the site I'm looking at may only be looking at Bitcoin related addresses. So I don't know exactly what some of the others are, but it's it's just so interesting to me that yes, there's a lot of popularity. Yes, 2021 was a big year, but it was only a fraction of what's possible.
True. I wonder what will happen with those holding numbers or hodling numbers, whatever you want to call it, in even this year
Mm,
and the years to come, as it's adopted more and more as something you can actually trade with.
right,
Though not just trade on an exchange. I'm talking about using a debit card and using it as
right.
active currency
Mhm.
in normal transactions between merchants and buyers and even between people. So I wonder how that's going to look and how that's really going to start to evolve. And if you start seeing certain coins are coins that are bought and held, and others are bought and used for transactions.
Right. I think you have there's a good point with that. As adoption becomes a bigger aspect of cryptocurrency, as retailers start accepting it more, there probably will be more transactions, but ultimately that's the whole point of Bitcoin. Like, we wanted to get to a point where people were using it in their everyday lives. And maybe once that happens, you don't have as many hodlers because it'll sort of stable itself out as people are using it more.
Mm-hmm.
But until we get to that point, I guess you're sort of sitting in this limbo spot of you want to hold until it starts being used, but for it to
Mm-hmm.
start being used, you really need to not hold. And
Right.
so it'll be interesting to see how that all works itself out.
True. It's an interesting balance. Even for me personally, I have this, I have a hard time thinking about using the crypto that I currently have, that I've invested in and I've been holding, using it for transactions because I kind of don't want to get rid of the coins.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? However, I really do believe in making cryptocurrency a new global currency
Right.
and being able to transact with it. But
Yeah.
I have that internal struggle. And I don't, at some point, I'm going to have to, if I'm really believing in it, this is what I'll say,
Mhm.
which I do, I'm going to have to get my mind around being able to transact in cryptocurrency and letting go of some of those coins.
Well, as we start transacting in crypto, what you hope to see is as you are using some of those coins you're also receiving some of those coins for other things.
Right. That
And
is true.
so it needs to be this back and forth, not just one way road. And I, that's going to be an interesting thing. I think it's going to encourage people to become producers, not just consumers.
That's interesting
Yeah.
in and of itself. One of the things that we were going to talk about in our last episode, and it was just a point we didn't get to, but I think it's relevant now. There's an article out there about some, I don't know, some surveys that were done with small businesses. And it says that as much as 73% of surveyed small businesses said accepting new forms of digital payments is fundamental in their growth in 2022. And there are 24% of those businesses who are eyeing enabling cryptocurrency payments. And this is according to Visa, like Visa, MasterCard. So this isn't some, I don't know, mom and pop shop who's trying to put these numbers together. I think Visa has a pretty good handle on the market,
Right.
With digital payments and transactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also telling. So this is why I'm saying, I don't know how quickly it's going to come about that we'll start seeing some of those holding numbers change if more and more places are starting to take these other digital currencies.
Right. And I would say, so for you and I in the crypto business that we have, one of our core values is creating community around cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that both of us have seen that being accomplished and partnered with that being accomplished is talking to local businesses about crypto and truly the ease of accepting it. It doesn't have to be a crazy thing that they don't understand. It can function very similar to the way that their point of sale processes already function. And even some of them, I know Jack Dorsey is a big crypto advocate and currently, I believe, the CEO of Square. And I really see, I bet it's not very long before Square has functionality, if they don't already, to accept crypto as forms of payment. And as some of these systems that are already in place start adapting to that, it will just make it easier for businesses to do that.
This is true. You look at things like, I'm not 100% sure whether or not Jack Dorsey's company, which he changed the name of, it was Square. I forget what it is now. Yeah, I think it's Block now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the ability now. I guarantee you they're going to. Right. He's a big advocate of cryptocurrency. But you look at PayPal, which has been around for over 20 years, is kind of the trailblazer of the digital peer-to-peer payments. But you look at them, and I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, it hasn't been that long, but they started offering Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin to be purchased on their platform. You can't transfer it off, but you can use it as payment.
Right.
For peer-to-peer, or for like your eBay transactions or whatever it is that has PayPal payments
anything
available.
you can pay through PayPal with.
Right. Which at this point, from where it came from 20 years ago, is pretty vast. I mean, I'm a person who typically pays in PayPal if I can, just because I don't want to get my credit card out and put the numbers in.
Right.
And so if you decide to hold your money there, you want to invest in Bitcoin, hold it there, you can pay with it there. It's far closer to mainstream than I think any of us really realize. And we talked about this last time, or maybe it was I remember whatever episode it was. In one of these episodes, it might've been last Thursday, we talked about how people are so hesitant for a digital currency to be centralized or to be being used all the time. But our dollar already is so digital or
Mhm.
digitalized, I would say,
Right.
in how we've been using it. Most people aren't actually paying for things in cash, um, even more than I would say 10% of the time. And I think that would be really generous.
Yeah.
I would say in my life personally, so I guess that's what I can really speak to. We transact in cash less than 1% of the time.
Yeah. Almost
bills
never.
bills are done digitally. Any kind of loan payments are done digitally.
Mhm.
I buy movie tickets digitally. I
Wow.
buy groceries. I mean, all of these things because
It's
I'm using my debit card.
it's been a long time since cash was the primary. I will use my life like you did. But I think back to even growing up and how rare it was, because even then we had checks, which I would
Mm,
argue are probably the original form of a digital payment, you know,
absolutely.
and we used that more often than not. And then cards came in, which were really just a, a plastic check.
Right.
And I mean, it's just progressed from one to another. And maybe there is a large portion of the population that still uses cash on a regular basis, but I would say that number is quickly dwindling. And probably the majority of people who are banked, who have normal
Right.
bank accounts, who have access to PayPal and Venmo and Cash App, people like that probably never use cash. And I
It's
would
true.
I would guess that even like, especially as you get in younger and younger generations, that number probably gets close to 100% of people who've maybe never even had cash.
I think that's quite possible. I also look at companies who offer nothing but direct deposit,
Mm,
whether it be to a bank account or to a cash card or something. But companies are moving this direction, and it's not just huge corporations, um, but it's mom and pop shops too. You know,
mhm.
I worked for a company that had less than 100 employees, and for the last 5 years, that's all that was available was direct deposit. You could choose to not have it go to a bank account, and again have it put on a debit card, like you can get a prepaid debit card or something, but there was no option for a check to be cut. Oh, let alone cash to be exchanged.
Right. Yes.
Mhm.
I think our society is already way more digital than people would like to realize. And I think as that starts to become known to the public, the opposition against crypto will fade more.
Mhm. I would say, as you were saying that, I was thinking of like it'll ease up a little bit. Like people are really kind of like tight gripped on either side, like yes,
Right.
crypto or no crypto, right? I
Yeah.
don't really know. A whole lot of people are like, we could do it or not. I don't
Yeah.
care, you know? But I feel like maybe it'll really start kind of loosening up and people will realize it's a lot more fluid than just being one side or the other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, long story short, cash is trash. Hodl on.
One more thing. I
Sure.
did learn this the other day. The origin of, or not the origin, the basis of the term hodl,
Mm,
right? So originally, and I learned this from Josh a long time ago. Originally, it was someone misspelled hold
hold. Right.
online on some Reddit or something. I don't know.
Probably some form.
Right. And so people just adopted it as kind of holding cryptocurrency. But
Hmm.
now it is used as an acronym and it is hold on for dear life,
That's right.
which I'm down for. I'm holding and it's for life.
That's right. I love these little crypto acronyms that we're learning. Or we had WAGMI the other day. We gonna be
True.
all right.
We all gonna make it.
We all gonna make it. Yeah, same thing. And now we have Hodl. We'll
We do
try
that.
and keep these coming from time to time.
It's true. I think we have plenty to do. And you did diamond hands, paper hands today.
That's true. We are. Look at us.
Look at us. The uneducated educating other people who may be more educated than us already.
That's right.
Okay, we'll see you
Sounds
guys
good.
next time.
See ya.
Thank you for listening. Join us every Monday and Thursday as we discuss trading on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to connect further, follow us on social media at market.mystics for Instagram and TikTok, and search for Market Mystics on YouTube and Facebook. If you still need more, follow the link on Facebook to book a coaching appointment. Until next time, see ya.